Hello readers, I'm Amy and I'm your nonfiction feminist. Welcome back for my part 3 of my May wrap-up. I'm talking about Moody May, which is part of the Devour Your TBR Goodreads challenge. I will link that down below. Moody May was about reading books that I'm in the mood for, which I did a lot more at the end of the month. I also did the Mentalhealth-athon readathon this month that was hosted by Nicole at A Beautiful Chaos of Books. I started off the month really strong with the mental health reads, and then I read so much of the mental health reads, it's like, I need to move on to something else. But that's what this month was about, was reading the books that I am in the mood for. So this video will be covering the last 5 books for the month. I will link my other 2 videos down below if you haven't seen those yet, or if you want to catch yourself up again on other books that I've read. Again, sorry for the noise. I'm shooting all these 3 videos in the same day, so it is still hot in here, and the window is still open, and there are still birds outside. And I still sound funny, because I'm still just as sick as I was about half an hour ago when I started shooting these films. So, we will get started here. I did The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. This was an autism rep, so it ended up going in the other category on the Mentalhealth-athon reading chart. This book I have really mixed feelings on. So it is definitely like a 4-star book. Like, it is a very well written, very well voiced book. It was hitting all the spots. Like, it's a really, really good book. However, the autism voice in this was just really kind of annoying for me. Like, it's not my favorite. It wasn't my favorite voice to read. That said, the voice was done very, very well. I thought it would be more of a mystery book, because the dog is found dead at the very, very beginning of the book. But it turned out to be more of a family drama. So not getting what I thought I was gonna get, also kind of changed the star rating for me. Again, that said, it was a very, very well done book. I would recommend this to anyone. The voice just wasn't something that was my favorite. And next up, I finished This Is All a Lie. This is part of my High Plains Book Awards. I believe these are long listed from last year, because I went to the High Plains Book Awards dinner last year and they had free books on all the tables. So really I just took the ones with some of the prettiest covers, like you do. Yeah, this book I will talk more about whenever I do a High Plains Book Awards video, which hopefully I will have up by the end of the summer at the latest. This book was weird. I will say that. The title is true. Everything in this book is a lie. Very unreliable narrator. Lots of red herrings. I'm still just not even sure what I think of this. Like, it was good and it was weird and I don't know. I will talk more about this one in the future. I don't know what to say. It's so weird. I need to collect my thoughts. I finished off the mental health reads with Prozac Nation. This one took me longer than most of the other mental health reads to get through. I have mixed feelings. This is a very well written book. Elizabeth Wurtzel's writing style is very literary, where it's more, not necessarily flowery prose, but just, you can tell she's very well educated. She has a very good way with words. So I did really enjoy the writing style. The voice, again, really got to me. She's extremely self-absorbed, which I kind of get. I mean, she is very depressed. She's very focused on her feelings and her world. Like, I get that. But it was, the self-absorption was too much a lot of the times. Very, very whiny. And the thing that really got to me was that she just did not care about the feelings of anyone else. She had no regard whatsoever for the feelings of others. And that's what really got to me. Like, there's a scene where her grandparents are supposed to be coming to visit, and she wakes up from some like drug-induced haze 4 or 5 hours after they were supposed to get there. Of course, they've already left, and I don't remember coming across any part where she even apologized for that. And it's like she felt bad about it, but she felt bad in a way that was very self-focused. So it just, yeah, the voice wasn't great. It's also one of those that goes a lot into how privileged of a person she really was. Like, her parents were not great, especially she has a lot of issues with her dad, but she still had so much privilege that she just didn't talk about or didn't accept or didn't notice because, again, she's so focused on her feelings. And again, I get it. She's depressed. She's going through a lot with her emotions. But, I mean, I know a lot of depressed people in my life. I work in a treatment center, and very few are quite so into themselves or so focused on themselves as she is. It just, the voice bothered me. That's the short version of this. The voice bothered me, but the writing was good. Mixed feelings. And the last 2 books of the month were for Moody May, where I read very much what I was in the mood for. One of those was The Tenant of Wildfell Hall. Yes, I ruined this beautiful copy. Chalk marker. If you spill anything on these cloth-bound books, don't try to wipe it off. Just leave it stained. Trust me, just leave the stain. Just leave it. It'll look better that way, because this design rubs off, and I didn't know that. Anyways, about the book. Written by Anne Bronte. I'm starting the Brontes off with Anne Bronte. You hear that Wuthering Heights can be a really difficult read. Jane Eyre is a longer read, and so many people talk about it, and so many people talk about loving it, that I'm at the point where I'm kind of freaking myself out about reading it. So, after watching a lot of classics-focused booktubers, I decided to go ahead and start with Anne Bronte. She seemed like an easier starting point for the Brontes. I have read Agnes Grey previously. I really enjoyed it. Read Tenant of Wildfell Hall, and it starts off with this awesome feminist rant. And it was great, and I'm immediately like, yes, this is a book for me. It's suggested that this is one of the first feminist novels, which is really, really awesome. Anne Bronte, as an author, at least with her characters, which I hear is also kind of very much the way she was in person, they're a little too religious and moralistic for my tastes. Moralistic in a very religious way. But despite that, in spite of that, I really have enjoyed her books so far. I have Villette and I have Shirley, both by Charlotte Bronte, on their way in the mail. I'm going to read those next, then move on to Jane, and then move on to Wuthering Heights. So we'll see how I do with the Brontes. But yes, this is my second Bronte book. I really loved it. I think I'm going to be a Bronte lover. But we'll see. I've only read 2 of the 6 books that I'm planning on reading. Math. I don't know. And lastly, the only previous Daphne du Maurier book that I had read was Rebecca, of course, because if you've read any Daphne du Maurier, you've read Rebecca. It's amazing. So, at one point, and you'll see this in the haul that I did before this wrap up, I got Don't Look Now and Other Stories. I am not a short story reader. All the short story books that I have read in the last year have been boring, and I didn't finish any of them. I don't like short stories. I'm not a short story reader. That said, I really, really enjoyed this. This is a collection of 5 short stories. They're longer than what I would really consider a short story, but they're like a little shorter than a typical novella. They did start off slow, so they're like slow burn stories, but I was pretty satisfied with most of the endings in these. I did really enjoy myself. She still sticks very much to her like gothic horror style. Quite a few like twists or went into personal relationships between characters. I enjoyed these. this is probably the first set, like, I think this is actually the first book of short stories that I have completely finished and thoroughly enjoyed myself through the whole thing. So, congratulations to me! Yeah, that is it for wrap-up number 3. I hope you all had a wonderful May. I don't really do TBR videos unless I'm doing like a readathon or something, so I'll just say it at the end of this video. Next month is Jazzy June for the Devour Your TBR Goodreads Challenge, which means I will be focusing on rereads, which I can't wait to do. I have a series that I need to like reread the first 2 books so then I can read the third and finally put out my review for that. I will be rereading Dracula, which is my favorite book of all time ever in the world, which is why I own like 5 copies. 4 copies? 5 copies. 6. I will do a video sometime on my Dracula collections. Have a wonderful June, because I'm putting these videos up in June. Have a wonderful start to your June. I will be taking a week off from videos and probably doing a vacation vlog, because I am going on a week-long vacation and it's going to be amazing because I don't have to go to work and I can take a break and I can see some family, and yeah, it's going to be great. Like, subscribe, and be my friend so you can get updated on when I'm releasing my next video. See you all in the future.